Welcome back to Culture Clash Reactions. My name is Fen.
My name's Akasha.
Hope everyone is doing fantastic. Today on the channel, usually we discuss what we're going to do, but we didn't. Did you, by any chance, hear anything about Katt Williams this week?
No.
Didn't think so. We're going to preface with this. We're actually big fans of Katt Williams' comedy, but we've done a couple of reaction videos to his comedy as well, but the earlier stuff. And I made some comments about like his last, like the latest maybe 7-8 years for me has just not been there. And so I want to preface with, we are fans, but it was honestly like positive criticism, even though some people are like, anyway.
What happened to him though? Like,
well, here's what, there's a podcast that I'd never heard of. And again, people might attack me, but I've never heard of it. It's called the Shay Shay. And I think, again, I could have just got my phone and Googled this, but I want to be like authentic. I believe he might have been a football player. He looks like it. Guy's fucking tanked up. And now has a podcast, and he invites celebrities on and they have a chat or whatever. Just another podcast.
Yeah.
But it got 25 million views in like 4 days or something like that, right? Okay. And I'm like, what in the like, you know, that's astronomical numbers, right? Even like I think Elon Musk and Joe Rogan did like something like 10 million in the first 4 days. So it's like 25 million is
a lot.
That's a lot people. In 4 days. I'm like, fucking hell. So anyway, and it's all to do with Katt's at it again. Katt Williams, if you don't, which I know that you don't, I was a fan, so I'll give you a bit of a preface to what's going on, is he's one of those that kind of exposes Hollywood, exposes the truth and whatnot, okay? And he's one of those that, like, that's the reason he doesn't get parts anymore, and there's a lot of animosity between him and Kevin Hart because they were kind of the same style, almost human, if you like. You know, they were like that funny little black guy who kind of like says funny shit and whatever.
He's like kind of spazzy.
And Katt Williams used to get all of those parts, and then over time, Kevin Hart got them. Yeah. And it's because Kevin plays the game. Yeah. Kevin plays the game incredibly.
Massively. And he does it well, obviously.
He does. I mean, I'm not a Kevin Hart fan. Like, you know, I like he's obviously got talent, obviously, but his comedy's not great, and he is very much, sorry to say, a sellout.
He just went like more of the Hollywood route.
He plays Hollywood fantastically. Anyway, sorry, I'm making this longer than it needs to be, but he goes after everybody on this podcast, like names everybody, calls everybody gay, and that they did this. Yeah, that, like, you know, I always thought there was some funky stuff. Yeah, like lots of scandal. P. Diddy likes doing this, blah, 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 likes doing this, and mainly attacking comedians, which I already knew were like rubbish ones, like Steve Harvey and Cedric the Entertainer. Again, I don't think I'm a huge comedy fan, by the way, to respect to my wife. I know you're just like, you like comedy.
Yeah, but I don't know.
You don't know who Cedric the Entertainer is, and all these kind of guys.
I mean, I know who he is.
He went, excuse me. So he went after everybody, and it's a 3-hour long podcast. We can't watch it, obviously react to, but I did find a really cool video on YouTube, and it was like every receipt to what Katt Williams said, almost like proof of what he was saying.
Gotcha.
So let's get into it. We'll discuss more after the video, because I got a few points that I want to make about Katt and about some of the stuff that he says. But should we get into it? Let's do it.
Is that I'm quite likely to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help me God. And the reason I had to come is because you made a safe place for the truth to be told.
You gonna set the record straight?
Are you kidding me? You let Ricky Smiley sit here and you said out that mouth, you stole Friday After Next, the one I was in.
You stole the show in Friday After Next. Yeah.
This man told you.
Do you know who Ricky Smiley is?
I've heard Ricky Smiley morning show. He has a radio show.
That's how I know him. I know him off the radio, but I don't know him like in Hollywood kind of thing. But anyway, Katt goes after him, and then apparently, what did he say? This guy told him straight, like, you stole it.
Show in Friday After Next. Yeah.
This man told you he had Katt Williams' role. He was gonna be Money Mike.
Wait.
And Katt Williams was gonna be the Santa Claus.
And somebody said, no, we want you to play Mike. The thieving ass Santa Claus.
Right, and then...
Yeah, because Katt Williams is going to be the Santa Claus. Right.
Now, 3 quick points. You mean in Hollywood, they cast a 5'5" black Santa Claus that weigh 145 pounds? That's your story. He told you the story about when the movie came out. Where did he say he watched it? At home.
Friday After Next come out, I get my kids,
where we going? We're going to the movies. We're going to see Friday After Next.
Right.
But they didn't know I was in the theater.
He wasn't even at the premiere. Somebody in Hollywood, they switched off roles.
He's
You
going
take
off.
this and he, what?
And then, and they switched it over.
Right.
I was audition number 201. 200 black comedians auditioned for the role of Money Mike with me.
When I auditioned for Mighty Mike.
Right.
You're saying all 201 of us was auditioning and you had already had the role and had already shot the role in 4 days?
Did my role like in 4 days.
Right.
They shot all my stuff in 4 days.
The truth of the matter is, the Money Mike in the original script got raped in the bathroom, and that's what Ricky Smiley was okay with.
You know, so when I went in there to audition, I'm at the toilet. When Katt Williams went to use the bathroom, that's the line I had to use to audition.
I put in my contract that I won't work with Ricky Smiley again unless he's in a dress. Now, what was Ricky Smiley's next movie? Was it First Sunday?
Big movie, then I end up doing First Sunday.
Yep.
Did he wear a dress in it? You bet he did. It's in my contract. This is not even my church. I saw this on MySpace.
All the parents that be bringing their babies down.
It could all be true.
Pies without giving them a hot bath.
Cedric did the same thing. Cedric told you when you asked him, did you steal Katt Williams' joke?
But Katt said you stole one of his jokes. Yeah.
He said it don't line up.
Even talking about don't even match up with no timeline.
It does.
How it don't line up that I did it on TV in 2018?
It's a joke.
You
Katt
came
did.
to see me at the Comedy Store do it in 2019 and then did it on the Kings of Comedy.
It is suspicious.
Doesn't line up. This is a televised joke.
Feels that someone else has stolen some of your material?
Oh, that's a part of this business.
Right.
Like,
Same Steve that went to go watch Mark Curry do his whole sitcom and then stole everything Mark Curry had.
Oh yeah, you'll need this.
A whistle? Oh, Mark, I'm teaching music, not gym.
Standard issue. Screaming for help only excites the kids.
Steve got a sitcom where he the principal and he wear a suit and he...
First of all, I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Mr. Hightower, and I'm your new music teacher.
These dudes lie. Cedric's sitting here telling you why he ain't a movie star. He over here look like a walrus. You didn't say nothing. He can't even get his arms off his stomach.
this is some internet shit, and that's all I can say. So, you know.
Sitting over here, why I'm not a movie star. Anybody that ever told you differently was a fat Faison liar. There's nobody like me in the business.
Faison just caught a stray.
Faison said that getting a Netflix special is easy. I have 12 specials. Guess how many Faison got? 0.
Okay, but serious though, if you look at your career, have you done better with stand-up or acting?
I have, it's almost time to retire.
Okay.
So I don't make any money.
All right.
If you sign up for their program, you get a light-skinned, weird-faced wife that never do an interview.
He's right. Hang on, they are all white.
I like how they all
And they're all
put
weak.
the collage.
Whoever made this funny. I mean,
Oh, man, come on.
Listen, in 20 years, won't do an interview. Nobody's ever talked to her, and she's never been interviewed anywhere. And now, understand, I'm not talking about one person. What I just told you applies to 7 people. How they all end up with that. That's part of what you get. Be the villain. Not the guy that raises black children and ain't never done a hard drug in his life and don't have no stories of doing nobody dirty.
How was he at risk?
He chose drugs.
And they'll just go out and they'll lie. The industry doesn't mess with Katt because he didn't show up for the studio.
You were set up to be the star. You didn't show up to work. You fucked off promo shoots. You fucked off your promo fucking trips that they had set up for you. You became a risk to the studios, which is why the studios stopped fucking with you.
No studio.
Kevin Hart always sounds disingenuous.
Yeah, he
always, when
does.
he's doing interviews, he always, I don't know. For me, I've never believed anything he says. It always just feels like this rehearsed, script. You know what I mean? I remember seeing this video on the Breakfast Club, and because they were asking him about like the comparison between him and Katt Williams, and like because Katt is always bashing Kevin Hart, so that was his kind of response.
Which is why the studio stopped fucking with you.
No studios have ever said that. Look at my IMDb. It will show you that no studio has ever lost money with me on the script. I can't do that because Steve told you that he stopped doing stand-up because he had 7 TV shows.
Years later, I had, at one time, 7 TV shows running concurrent on the air.
Only problem is when he stopped stand-up, he didn't have those 7 TV shows.
Years later, I had, at one time, 7 TV shows running concurrent on the air.
Him and Steve had already apologized for me, so I gave him a pass for a decade. Why would you sit here and be like, I saw Katt 30 times?
You know, even before then, I've seen this guy 30 times. Like, dog, if you literally was that upset about it, like, dog,
Just
why
step to me and say, hey,
why you didn't say nothing like that?
And Katt didn't do, as I stand before you, Shannon, I would have bust Cedric's stomach. Change the content because that's all you know me for, is that I'm quite likely to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help me God. All my enemies all look the same in the eyes, whether it's Faison, Wanda, Aries Spears, they all look like...
Man, I remember on the radio, you went on the radio interview. If I'm not mistaken, that's in Atlanta.
Right.
And you came on there with seemingly good intentions. And she attacked you.
It wasn't just that part. It was the fact that before I go in there, she has a conversation about, okay, now, I just want to talk to you because you just won an Emmy for the city of Atlanta, and this is in Atlanta, and they just want to hear about the Emmy and hear from you and to thank you for what you did putting the city on. Right. Okay. And we won't talk about your kids. We won't talk about jail.
You're good at telling us about what's going on in jail.
Not the right one, Jones.
Get this inmate out of here. And you're big
Turn
in
it
prison.
down.
And you're
Yes,
big in
ma'am.
prison.
I've never been to prison.
You have
19
several
felonies,
times.
no convictions.
Yeah,
Knock it off. Prison and jail aren't the same. No.
Calm
No.
I've seen the full video. I don't know who she is, but she
seems
cunt.
like a nightmare.
She's an absolute nightmare, and he tore her to shreds.
Also,
and she's supposed to be. I don't know if she's a comedian, but she was trying to be funny and was just digging.
But
deeper
also
and deeper.
to me, whenever anybody does this thing,
yeah,
I'm like, okay, you're a fucking dick.
You are one of the worst people. I mean. But he gives
no cases. We ain't gonna talk about none of that. Right. And immediately gets in there and goes the opposite way.
I said what they like. Excuse me. I said what do they like?
Just because you're a poor interviewer doesn't mean.
Never gonna say anything disrespectful to people that look like you. It's a very thin line. Only one of us has $12 worth of jewelry on.
Great shout out to Forever 21.
Yeah, don't come at a comedian either.
They tried to kill me this same weekend. Not in jokes. With a real gun in my real face on real camera. Understand I'm losing my life for participating in something that goes along with my job. Like, it's 2 comedians. What do you mean?
That she said it was going to be very professional. Oh, you won an Emmy. Congratulations. You put the city on. You own for the city. Yada, yada, yada. And now, did she mention anything about the Emmy on camera?
I believe you saw the video and you know.
If you can't get your blood pressure down, you can't call me down. If your cholesterol is 600.
Whatever, little mama.
I'm little mama's baby daddy.
No, you weight class.
Is that what you wanted to do?
600.
No.
That she was out of her league when it came to... Because
I didn't want to do any of it.
I know you didn't want to, but once she took it there, did you feel that you
Game
had to
on.
go there? Oh, you
Go
could've
where?
You could have said, Wanda, I didn't come here for that. I just want to do the interview. I just want to talk about what happened.
Oh, you misunderstand my job. My job is to be
It's
funny.
true though, yeah.
My job is to be funny first.
Right.
It's as a learning experience. Most comedians don't get booed enough.
Think about this. You're stuck in traffic and the lights turn blue.
What the fuck?
I don't know if that's been edited.
I mean, This is how you end up with a Michael Blackson who's a real African doing a fake African accent. Okay,
Stop, you mother suckers!
You know what? I mean, I'm not gonna say me and Katt been like, you know.
This guy is mad at me. All I did was give him the best advice of his life. Remember, he was wearing dirty dashikis, and I told him he needed to dress to be in the position that he's trying to say that he's in. And if you're the African king of comedy, sir, there's actually comedians in Africa doing comedy. If you
For the African king of comedy, ladies and gentlemen, this is Michael Blackson.
Gotta put in some work. And these guys, they take my advice,
American.
they change their whole persona, and then they hate me for it. And
You know what? I mean, I'm not gonna say me and Katt been like, you know, best friends or we're friends, but we're more like always been like associates. Like we.
this is the reckoning. 2024. And never has sucked a penis. That was my only goal. I didn't want to get with a white woman because I was scared she might have me running down the street like Jonathan Majors. Now, I've had to turn down $50 million 4 times. 4 times. Just to protect my integrity and that virgin hole I was telling you about. Right. Because P. Diddy be wanting to party.
I like when you like this, Daddy.
We partied for my birthday before. You came to my party.
No, but me and you ain't never really party, you know what I'm saying?
And you gotta tell him no. You got to tell him no.
I love that last bit. You got to tell him no. You've got to tell him no.
Yeah.
Brilliant. P. Diddy, man. Which, by the way,
I knew something was up with him in
always
that making the band show, because I watched that, like, I can't remember what season or if it was the only season, whatever, but that's when, you know, Danity Kane, the, like, 4 or 5 girls.
Sure.
Okay, anyway, I watched that because I was in, like, middle school, and
Right.
I thought they were, and I just remember he was so mean to them.
And it's all like, I'm trying to build character, and I'm trying to show them the industry. Shut the fuck
But
up.
no, like, cross the line, like,
Yeah.
mean, like, you're fucking fat, you're not talented, like, just...
Not even that. I saw a clip of him where he was like, it's 3 a.m. and I want a McDonald's. And everyone's like, yeah, the closest McDonald's is like 5 miles away and we got no... He's like, yo, well, I want a McDonald's. All right, cool. Well, I'll go get you one. No car. And they were like, what? He's like, you have to walk there. And then in the interview, he's like, yeah, I want to show these kids that, you know, if you want something, you really got it. No, you're just a piece of shit who likes fucking degrading people.
Like, he, like...
Anyway, we're going off the point. I just
I don't
can't
like
stand
P. Diddy. I
I
never
can't
liked
stand
him.
him. Never did. Anyway, it's easy now, isn't it? Everyone says. But anyway, Katt Williams. What do we think?
What do you mean?
Initial thoughts. What do we thought? I mean, 25 million views in 4 days. Can you see why, or is it just people like gossip?
Probably a little bit of both.
Yeah.
Probably a little bit of both.
Cool.
I mean, you can tell he just seems like angry. Like he has a lot of...
Well, that's the thing. So, like, obviously, most people, if you if you look on the internet, everyone's like, "Yo, Katt's out there fucking telling truth." And that's true, but also let's just calm down and be adults and let's actually break it down. Like, Katt, for one, me personally, who was a huge fan of the Pimp Chronicles all the way through. The last, as I say, about 5 or 6 years, I think I didn't even bother watching the last stand-up special he did, because it's not even about people that are like, oh, why, he's telling too much truth. It's like, it's nothing to do with that. You still have to have punchlines. Yeah. It's still got to be funny. And he was more about like just shocking people with the truth and being the truth teller as opposed to telling jokes. Now, you can be like a George Carlin, and you're a truth teller in that sense. But George Carlin was more like a philosopher who, it felt like a lecture almost.
And there were
to
still
a comedy
punchlines
show.
to his...
And there were still punchlines, but you could excuse that there weren't as many punchlines as possible, as usual. But the thing with Katt is, again, I'm Katt Williams from back in the day, the triple bye-bye birdie days, and My Wife and Kids, if anyone remembers them days. That's when I was like, who is this guy? He is fucking hilarious. But at the same time, he's not working, I don't think. I'm sure he does, like, I don't even know if he's on tour, if he maybe is touring or whatever, but generally speaking, yes, I know he's not in movies, and he is absolutely right that Hollywood is the funkiest, dirtiest.
Well, that's the thing, is I think it is very black and white, that it's either one of the two in Hollywood. Mm-hmm. You either play the game, whether it's a lot or a little bit, you have to do at least a little bit to stay in it and to stay relevant. And
no, but his claim was you have to be gay. His
Well, I know
claim
that.
was
I
that you've
know
got
what
to
you're
do
saying.
some gay shit in order to get a part. So now you've got to look at. Here's where I stand on that. Like, everyone knows about the game thing. What he's saying is you need to suck somebody's dick
Yeah.
or take it in the ass, or else you will not get a part.
Right.
All these people did that in some way, shape, or form.
Right.
My thing is this: one, I wouldn't be that shocked.
No, I wouldn't.
If that was the truth, I'd be like, no way. But I also wouldn't be that shocked if it was him kind of just exaggerating something
Well,
that he
and
saw
that's what
as well.
that's what I was trying to just say is that one, most of the things that he was saying, just like in that video, they had evidence to prove that it was true.
Right.
So everything he was saying was backed up with, well, yeah,
Sure.
that does fit. So then you would just assume that everything else he's saying is
Sure.
100% true. And then
Right.
you would just be like, oh, he's telling the truth. So obviously all those people suck dick and they do
Right.
whatever. Like, yeah, some of it might be true. Some of it might not be. I mean, I guess we'll never really know. The only things that for sure make sense are the things that are backed up. But that doesn't
Right.
necessarily mean that they took a wiener in their butt.
Well, that's
to
the
get a
thing. We
part.
all know all these guys are sellouts, and very few of them are funny.
Yeah.
Like actually funny. They're just pushed by the industry and shown to be. And a lot of them have like ghost writers and all this kind of stuff. That he's 100% correct on.
Yeah.
You can see it. That's why all the movies suck now, and all this stuff isn't funny anymore, and it's all just like demographic. We have to be 18 to 20, and we would like to have a more Latino.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, things just aren't creative anymore. But I think why the interview resonate with everybody is people just want to. Well, one, I think people really enjoy hating on celebrities. Guilty, because they're just awful human beings. But also just kind of like out them for what they are, which they are not. They are terrible human beings, but. Whether they're all just in a line, just bent over with their booty hole in the air,
Yeah,
I'm
I
not
don't think
too
it's
sure.
particularly like
I'm not
that.
sure, but
I'm sure.
I wouldn't be surprised if that was the fact.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know if that was true.
I don't know. I don't necessarily think that it's that extreme, but I'm sure there's been proof that's come out before how many times that
Right.
you don't just get all the way up to the top to that magnitude just because
You're
you were in front
talented.
of the right people all the time.
Right.
Like, it just doesn't fall. Like, you can only get so far like that. At some
Sure.
point you're gonna have a moment where it's like, wait, I have now had a taste of this and I really want to like continue.
Sure.
I'll do whatever,
Yeah, money, fame, love,
Yeah.
devotion, all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But on Katt Williams, like back in the day, even with his comedy, he was telling truth but still being funny. When he's like, when he's talking about like, the news says shit like, we out there killing insurgents. He's like, I don't give a fuck about insurgents. I do not have one insurgent friend. He's like, that's just the news finding a way to say we're killing people. We just find these. I'm not obviously not doing the bit right, but I'm saying that he was telling truth as well as being funny.
Yeah.
Now it's all just about like, I'm the truth teller, and it sounds angry, but the negative with Katt is that like, one, his ego is like out of control most of the time. Always referring to himself in the third person. Always, I did this and I did that. And then the other thing is, I think he's got a bit of a small man Napoleon complex as well, that he's trying to prove that he's gangster and he's tough and don't fuck with me. Like, the guy's about 5'4", and as you said, 145 pounds. I could take. Everyone's like, yeah, but he's from the hood. It's like, dude, hood or not, he's 5'4" and 145 pounds. Okay, and now he's 55. Like, grow up out of it. Like, that I'm a tough dude. And I had friends.
Is he still
who was,
doing that kind of thing?
well, yeah, you saw him. He's like outside a club. There was footage of him, and he almost got shot or whatever. Like, so I think that also plays into it. That's his downfall. I think he should just concentrate on just being like a Dave Chappelle. Like, that's the blueprint of how to do it, which is still being funny, still being original, still telling the truth, still fighting the system, still. But yeah. So
but
that's
you
just
don't
my
have to
2
be
cents.
like in your face and like come out with
Yeah,
shocking
and that's the thing, and like, it's weird that like we heard nothing from him, and then you hear this pod. It's almost like it's put him back in the limelight, right? So I think he should use that to come up with some great fucking material, man. Like he said to him, sir, you don't understand my job. First and foremost, my job is to be funny, and he's right. Like,
I'm a comedian.
To be a comedian.
Yeah.
Like, when he went into that booth with that lady and she attacked him, he tore her to shreds, and it was so good to watch because she was an absolute piece of shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, just my 2 cents, and Yeah, but still entertaining stuff, man. Katt Williams out
still
there.
entertaining.
Entertaining, and you got to say, whoever made that video, plenty of receipts there and what he's saying. I mean, well edited, nicely put together. Anyway.
I liked when he was talking about marrying someone. I didn't because
gotta
I
get
didn't
yourself
marry
a light with a weird looking
woman
face.
with a weird face, and then the collage of like all the women popped up.
And then you went, oh fuck, they are light skinned.
They
and a
all
bit weird.
look kind of the same, don't they?
That is interesting, but yeah, and I remember seeing that Cedric the Entertainer bit, the bit where he's doing like I want to say if it's like something about black people turn up to space or something like that, and we're gonna turn to I can't remember the bit, but I do remember everyone was like, yo, I think he just stole that. Mm-hmm. But all those guys steal. And by the way, if they're willing to steal from somebody as famous as Katt Williams,
yeah, no, that's what I was about.
How much more are they from like a local comedy club? That's what I was about to say.
Who knows if a lot of these people that have made it to the top because they've either scoped out or had people scope out
material.
Younger, people who are lower, and then just take all their shit.
For sure.
Because then it's a win-win. It's like, okay, I got all your shit. Now you have nothing because they're gonna believe that I came up with this, not you, type thing.
Yeah, it happens in comedy a lot, and it's really bad because it is like the worst style of plagiarism because it's literally somebody's thoughts and creativity, and like it takes months, by the way, to get a joke just right. Like
I think about that all the time with these. I mean, I know obviously, for example, we just watched Ricky Gervais's part of his special. So even for someone like him, I feel like the amount of time and energy, and he's been doing it for so long. I can't imagine how long it takes for someone like him or like a Dave Chappelle or someone like that to come up with an entire
just
set.
A joke. Never mind a year, like an hour. Just a joke. It takes weeks, maybe months,
right,
to perfect it.
And I know comedians, especially at that level, are just constantly have stuff going through their heads and just constantly writing stuff down. But it's just crazy to me how long it takes to do that.
And then somebody just goes on stage and just.
That's
does
why
it.
These people are so amazing that. When you watch an entire set that's that long, that took that much time and energy and thoughts to put together, and everything hits. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have a moment during the special where you're like, okay, well, that wasn't really. That's pretty impressive to me.
Patrice O'Neal, Elephant in the Room. That's the greatest ever stand-up special.
I could tell you were thinking something the entire time I was saying that. You were not even focused on me.
No, I was. I was thinking about that's my favorite special ever. Anyway, any last thoughts?
No.
Cool. Well, we enjoyed that. Nice bit of gossip. Any other suggestions, please join in the conversation. Like, comment, and subscribe. And it is always a chore. It is always a pleasure joining you people. Never a chore. Wow. Until next time. See you all later.